call 911. The chair has caught fire on the hot seat in week one. It's Dabo Swinney. It's getting a little spicy over there in Clemson, and they don't have many Mexican restaurants from what I've heard. Number 2 on that list in a winning performance, but I predicted it earlier in the season. I still think it's Ryan Day. Ohio State looked horrible. They got out with a victory, and maybe that's all that matters. That's all I'll say about that. I think we'll see more about the Ohio State Buckeyes, and maybe they turn into one of my favorite desserts, one that my mother's made forever. The good old Buckeye is a great dessert, and we might be eating it all season long. I'm going to throw it to Coach Price real quick.
You just said it. My bold prediction ain't going to be a bold prediction. It's Dabo. I mean, dude, you just laid an egg. You didn't bring your guts. And that's what you tell your players, bring your own guts. You didn't bring no guts. Your kids didn't train with guts. I mean, if you looked at that Clemson game, man, I can honestly tell you they hadn't ran sprints all summer long. It was pitiful. Them boys didn't do nothing. They got manhandled the whole ball game. The calls that Dabo was making in the ball game, they were piss poor. You saw him over there panicking on the sidelines. Yeah, your heart's pounding because now you just realized you're downhill. The last time you had any chance to do anything, it was a kid from Cartersville that got you there. That ain't happening no more. You can't get nothing out of the state of Georgia no more. And it's showing. That's why he ain't got no brothers on the team. He can't pull nothing out this state. If it ain't going to Alabama, or it ain't going to LSU, or it ain't going to Georgia, it's going out west. So that tells you right then and there that the whole cycle of where the recruiting is in the southeast, Clemson, you lost your edge. Your edge is going out to USC and the rest of the boys on the West Coast. You lost your edge, and it was a slight edge.
Not only that, Coach, Florida State's dipping their hand in the bowl. They're starting to yank.
Exactly.
And that's in the card in the ACC.
So Dabo, I don't see, honestly, dude, I don't even see Clemson finishing as one of the top 3 teams in the ACC this year because I don't think they're gonna get past a North Carolina team. Honestly, I'm putting my money on Miami to beat them. I just don't think that right now Clemson has got anything that they're going to come out and we're going to game plan and they're going to have something that we really got to be worried about. Shipley can only run the ball. We'll keep running it. That just keeps the clock going. Eventually, you're going to come up in a third and something decision, and it's over with. So, to me, Dabo, hey, man, you better call Urban Meyer, somebody to let you know how to take it when you get fired on your day off, because it's going to happen to you, buddy. You're getting fired.
Just like you said, they laid an egg. Let's be honest. When you go down to your local grocery store and you lift up that egg carton and you see that one little egg with poop on it, that's what Clemson was. That's the one you put back. You look for another case, and that's what we got. They laid the egg with the poop on it. It come with a little extra. Craig, what do you got?
Man, I got to go back to Billy Napier. I mean, I don't care who you are. If you're Florida and you lose to Vandy last year, and you come out and lay an egg against Utah, come on, man. His buyout can't be too big, right? I mean, I figured Dabo's worth some money. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm with you guys. I think you can't speak any lower of how bad that loss was for Clemson. That was just a bad loss. And like you guys said, it ain't getting no better. This is going to be a tough season for them. But, you can't go out against the Utah Utes and just lay an egg. I mean, 24-3 before they got some garbage points at the end of the game. It was just a bad showing on the Gators. And that fan base is just as rabid as any other SEC fan base. So you got to know his seat's getting hot. That's my pick for the hot seat. He's a 911 call, man. He's one more ugly loss away for he ain't going to make it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think he's in trouble.
Too.
Tony, who you calling 911 over there?
Start off with, I disagree with y'all on the Florida thing. For one, the University of Florida knows how bad Dan Mullen left Florida. They know what it's going to take. This ain't normal, like a normal Florida coach, not coach, but a normal Florida vacancy where you come in and the talent's there. You just got to bring your own culture and twist a few things.
Uh-oh. They knew he was lying.
Tony, you're mute.
We can't hear you.
We lost you, man.
That's how it
Can you
should
hear
be.
me
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody tried to call me, but like I said, this ain't like normal Florida job where a coach just comes in, does a couple things and says something, and then they just go and run. Florida, the University of Florida, and most of their fans knew this is a minimum of a 3-year thing just to get positive. Not be good, but just to get around maybe 500. Like, you got to let this man get his players in. He's got his quarterback committed. He's got one of the best classes in SEC coming in next year. You got to give a coach. I understand it's SEC. You want to win now. But you're not going to win now against Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. And now you got 3 coaches in the SEC who've won a natty, 4 that's played for a natty as a head coach, if you had Brian Kelly. You got to give this guy a chance to get to where – now, if he gets his players in year 3, and, they're about 7-5, that next year is when you judge him. Year 4, because you got to be honest. Next year, his schedule gets worse because it's the first year of the full combined SEC. You add Texas and Oklahoma. So this year, it's whatever he can get. Next year, it's got to get a little better. But then that next year, that's when you should judge Billy Napier. I don't think his seat's hot at all. I think it's freezing. But this is going to surprise a lot of y'all. This is my hot seat. And I don't care if they won their first game. I don't care if JP's high on them. James Franklin has got to be on the freaking hot seat, man. There's got to be a punishment for being mediocre. Let me give you a stat right here.
Smart Rick.
You want to know what his record is against top 10 teams? And this isn't counting Vanderbilt. So before he got to Penn State, he was 0-5 versus top 10 teams. Since he's been at Penn State, he is 2-15 against top 10 teams. You are in the Big Ten. You got to beat Ohio State and you got to beat Michigan. That's it. Or beat one of them. And he can't do it. He's had Michigan beat. He's had Ohio State beat. And then what happens? He craps his pants. He needs a new Huggy in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Every single time. He has, like that plane they had to pull over for the explosive diarrhea. That was James Franklin getting off that plane. I don't care what the hype is. It's every year with Penn State. Come talk to me when they beat Ohio State or Michigan. Until then, shut up with this Penn State's real. James Franklin's a great coach. No, miss me with it. He's 2-20, 0.91 win percentage for his career against top 10 teams. People lie, numbers don't.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Oh, my guy's Dave Aranda. His seat's got to be smoking. That dude gets paid $4 million a year. He's lost his last 5 games. The last 2 games was against Air Force and Texas State by a combined 26 points.
God.
What's he doing? I mean, that program is terrible. It's worse now than it was before he got there. Even with all the sanctions, you can't get paid, $4 million a year and have the record he has and the losses he has. There's just no way. So just real quick, that's it. Dave Aranda for me.
And that could turn into one of those schools that we're seeing right now with this change in college football. That could be a school that becomes irrelevant. That in 25 years, we're talking about Baylor has a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and they're playing in Division II. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see something like that happening because let's be honest. I mean, Texas, there's a lot of colleges in Texas, and some of them, on the lower half might be better than Baylor. I mean, it's wild how that story will unfold. I think, they got to do something quick. Dylan.
I'm back. I think it was you, Dalton, who said it, but my future hot seat is Ryan Day. Look, I don't care if he goes 11-1. I think he's done at the end of the year if he can't beat Michigan, and he ain't going to beat them. But my not going to make it out of the season hot seat is Butch Jones.
God dang.
Sorry, Jared.
God.
Look, all y'all know,
Ah.
especially from the poem last week, I hate Shane Beamer. But if there's one coach I hate more, it's Butch Jones. They both blow smoke, and they don't win games when they need them. He lost that game 73-0. His record at Arkansas State is 5-20.
Ew.
Screw him. He went to the rehab. Saban tried to help him, couldn't do it. Sent him out. He still sucks. Fire him, dude.
This man was crying on the sidelines.
God dang it. Right, man. Jeez.
Boom.
Jared, I don't know if you can
That's that
recover from
chemistry.
that,
Dude,
but who you calling 911 on?
well, number one, I'm just going to keep talking on Butch Jones for half a
Do
second.
it.
Dude,
Do
you're
it.
crying on the sidelines on national television, dude. Jesus Christ, man. Get it together. You were the coach of a massive D1 program in Tennessee. These kids are looking at you at Arkansas State. And people just, toss Arkansas State and say, Gus Malzahn was a head coach there. John Bobo was a head coach there. Hugh Freeze was a head coach there. I mean, they have a standard there. That's not your
Right.
run-of-the-mill. That's not your run-of-the-mill crapshoot school. Like they do have a standard out there. And now I get it, man. It was Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got two fantastic quarterbacks, and they were going to beat you no matter what. But you go out there to you get 73 burgered. Are you kidding me? Dude, then you want to sit out there on your sidelines on national television, and you literally shed a tear on one knee to where your kids have to come pick you up off. Man, if I'm a kid in that locker room, I'm like, man, who the hell are we following?
Yeah.
What a freaking joke that is! My God, yeah, Butch Jones.
Go ahead.
5-20, dude. Yeah, I saw that one. I think I texted Dylan or I saw him during that or whatever, and I was like, dude, can you see this? But for lack of that, I do want to speak on Billy Napier for 1 second before I get to since Dylan stole it, my number 2 hot seat. Billy Napier in Florida, I think the bad situation, and no, I agree with TJ. Billy Napier's seat is not hot. They like you said, they understood. I think the biggest thing that's getting people pissed off and things like that is when you saw Sark at Texas, and even Kirby when he first started, like you see progress every year. You get a little better. I'm not saying you've got to go from winning 3 games to winning 9 games, but you need to see the effort's got to go up. The want to's got to go up. And with Florida, I just didn't see that. So I understand why people would think that. But it's like Kevin said with Baylor. Baylor their wide receivers couldn't even line up on the ball correctly. And he came out in a press conference a few weeks ago and said that that's been a problem through the spring. You're a college wide receiver. Line up on the freaking ball. Are you kidding me? You've been doing this since high school, man.
Not to mention they can check with the refs to make sure they're lined up correctly.
Yes. How is that the problem that you bring into week 1? If you don't maybe know the offense or quite know, what your quarterback's expecting, I get that. But you can't even line up on the daggum ball. Listen to me. I said daggum like I was Dabo Swinney. But the last one I have, and this is kind of just a shot in the dark, and this is really not a hot seat for him as far as the school and maybe the rest of the country. Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern. Pat Fitzgerald, I don't care what anybody says. Pat Fitzgerald, I think, is a good coach. I know he doesn't have a lot of huge success at Northwestern and whatnot, but with the allegations and whatnot that just came off this season, if they have another bad season, like they will have a bad season. He's going to get let go just because of the allegations and just wipe it new. He could go to a nice school, man, and actually make a statement. Maybe he'll take over Butch Jones at Arkansas State if we'd be so lucky.
Hey, man, have you guys do y'all know what Rue is?
Who?
Rue?
What a Rue is. I know you know, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, last week, well, it was the Sunday LSU game. I made a roux. And anybody know anything about a roux? It's hot grease and flour. And you make that when you make your gumbo. That's about as hot as Brian Kelly's ass is right now at LSU. He got roux on his cheeks because I listen, I don't care what he did last year. You all know how prideful LSU is. And all his messaging and everything he is saying, he's saying all the wrong things, man. You got your baseball team winning the national championship. You got your women's basketball team winning the national championship. And they both did it in I think it was it the second year or third year, something like that? Brian Kelly, he better do something, and he better do something fast. I believe he will. He may not get fired this year. He will be fired in year 3 if he keeps up what he's got going on. They're not going to stand for it in Louisiana. He'll be on the first thing smoking out of Baton Rouge.
Let me give you a shout out too, Barry, real quick to Kim Mulkey out of LSU, who just got that 10-year, $320 million contract to coach
Ridiculous.
basketball.
Yes. Yes.
Go Tigers.
Hey,
Go
and,
Tigers.
and honestly, she's this era's Pat Summitt. We're not going to go into women's basketball, but
Woo,
she
hold
is
on. Hey,
Pat
that's a
Summitt.
statement.
She is.
Dang.
She is. When she retires, she is going to have a legacy like Pat Summitt.
Dude, I love her
And-
clothes though, man.
and
God,
she's,
Oh,
she's
man.
wears
dressed
these
in-
games.
She can
I'd play
definitely
for her.
rest.
Damn, no, she
Um,
got it going on, man.